Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that took me years to learn, and when I finally got it, my whole life changed. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It's not giving up, it's not quitting. No. It's one of the strongest things you will ever do in your life. And the day you finally learn to walk away from what's breaking you, from who's holding you back, that's the day you finally take your power back. See, people got it twisted. They think staying in pain, fighting a losing battle, begging for respect, they think that's strength. But let me ask you something. How is it strong to keep letting someone break you? How is it strong to sacrifice your peace just to make someone else comfortable? That ain't strength. That's survival. And you were not put on this earth just to survive. You were built to thrive. Now, I know it ain't easy. I know you loved them. I know you cared about her. I know you saw the potential, but you cannot build your life on someone else's potential. You cannot keep showing up for someone who don't even show up for themselves. You can't love someone into becoming the person you need them to be. That ain't love. That's suffering with a fancy name on it. So when you walk away, when you finally look around and say, I can't do this no more, you're not being selfish, you're being wise. You're being real with yourself. You're choosing peace. And let me tell you, peace is not negotiable. That's your birthright. Now here's where the real lesson hits. Not just for you, but for them. See, the moment you walk away, that's when they finally start to see who you really were. That's when they start calling, texting, remembering all the good you brought into their life. Why? Because they thought you'd never leave. They thought you'd always be there no matter how they treated you. They mistook your loyalty for weakness. They took your patience for permission. But the day you walk away, ooh, that's the day they realized they were dealing with a queen, a king, somebody rare, somebody solid. Walking away teaches people how to treat you. It draws a line in the sand that says, I'm no longer available for disrespect. And don't be surprised when they act shocked, like they didn't see it coming. That's what happens when you keep showing up for people who got too used to you being there. They forget you had the power to leave the whole time. And I'll tell you something else. When you walk away, you're not just walking away from them. You're walking towards something bigger, a better life, a better version of you, a future where you're not drained every day, wondering why love feels so heavy. When you walk away, you make space. Space for healing, for clarity, for people who love you right, for people who see your worth the first time and don't need to lose you to realize it. You don't owe anybody an explanation for choosing yourself. You don't owe them a second chance to break your heart again. What you owe is to that little voice inside you that's been whispering, you deserve more. And you do. You deserve love that lifts you, not love that leaves you in pieces. You deserve to be heard, not just tolerated. You deserve to be safe, seen, and supported. So if today's the day you finally get tired of begging, tired of explaining, tired of proving your worth to someone who should have already known, then let today be the day you take your life back. One step at a time, one door at a time, one no more at a time. They might not get it now, but they will. And when they do, they'll realize the lesson was never in what you said, it was in what you did. You walked away, and that taught them everything. People don't always see what they got when they got it. That's one of life's coldest truths. You could be the best thing that ever happened to someone, and they won't even recognize it until you're gone, until you stop calling, until you stop checking in, until the door that was always open quietly closes and they realize They're standing outside alone. Let me tell you something real. Your presence has power. Your love, your time, your energy, it's valuable. But when you give it to the wrong person, someone who's too distracted or too selfish to appreciate it, they start to think it's normal. They think it's guaranteed. They think no matter what they do or don't do, you'll always be there. That's when they stop trying. That's when they start taking shortcuts. That's when they assume your patience is permanent. But the truth is, you are showing up with love. Real love. The kind that don't walk out just because things get hard. You stayed through their storms. You stood by them when nobody else did. You believed in them when they didn't even believe in themselves. You saw greatness in someone who didn't even see it yet. But that kind of love, that ride or die kind of love, it ain't supposed to be taken for granted. It's supposed to be honored, protected, nurtured. The day you walked away, they felt that shift. Don't let them fool you. They felt that silence, that absence, that distance. See, what they didn't realize when they had you was that you were the calm in their chaos, the steady hand in the middle of their mess, the peace in their storm. But because you showed up every time, because you answered every call, they thought you always would. But you're human too. You got tired, you got drained, you cried in silence while trying to be strong for them, and eventually you realized something powerful. Being available to someone who treats you like an option is the fastest way to forget your own worth. Now they're sitting there scrolling through old messages, replaying conversations, remembering the sound of your laugh, the way you encouraged them, the way you believed in them, and suddenly it hits them the very thing they prayed for was right in front of them, and they didn't take care of it. That's the lesson they learned when you walk away. They learned that love is not something to be assumed, it's something to be cherished. They learned that you can't keep pushing someone away and expect them to always come back. They learned that loyalty has a limit. And they learned it the hard way, in your absence. It's crazy how clear things get when someone is no longer in your life. That's when the fog lifts. That's when the memories hit different. That's when they realize what they lost wasn't just a partner, a friend, or a supporter. They lost someone rare. They lost someone who showed up when it was inconvenient. Someone who loved them without keeping score. Someone who was willing to grow, to build, to believe. Let me tell you, their regret is not your responsibility. Don't go back just because they finally woke up. That apology they bring, it might be real, but that doesn't mean you have to open the same door they slammed shut. Growth means recognizing that just because someone finally sees your value doesn't mean they deserve a seat at your table again. You are the blessing. You are the one praying for them, rooting for them, sacrificing for them. And now that they see it, now that you're no longer there to carry the weight, they understand. They get it. And that pain they feel, that's not your burden anymore. That's the cost of not valuing what they had when they had it. So let them learn. Let them reflect. Let them feel the silence. Because you walking away wasn't just a decision, it was a lesson. A lesson about value, about love, about what happens when someone forgets that not everybody is replaceable. Your worth was never the problem, their vision was. Sometimes the loudest lessons in life are taught in silence. The biggest breakthroughs don't come from arguments or explanations. They come from distance, from that quiet space where you finally stop talking, stop begging, stop chasing, and just let go. See, when you step back from someone who kept taking you for granted, you're not just disappearing, you're making room. You're making room for clarity, for peace, and for the realization of who you are without all that noise around you. You've been living so close to their chaos, trying to fix, trying to help, trying to understand, that you couldn't even hear your own thoughts. But when you create distance, suddenly the fog lifts and everything starts to make sense. You start remembering how strong you are. You remember that you had dreams before you met them. You remember that you used to laugh, really laugh, not that forced, tired smile you gave just to keep the peace. And in that silence, you begin to heal. Let me tell you something. Silence is powerful. And some people only start listening when you stop speaking, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop justifying your worth, when you stop giving access to someone who never earned it in the first place. That's when they start to realize something's changed. That energy they used to count on, gone. That voice that always lifted them up, quiet. That heart they thought would always be there, closed off now. See, what they didn't know is that your silence was never weakness. It was wisdom. It was strength. Because sometimes the strongest move you can make is no move at all. Just silence. Just space. Just a slow walk toward peace. And the beauty is, in that space you give yourself, you start to see the truth for what it really is. You start to see who showed up for you and who only came around when they needed something. You start to see who clapped when you won and who got quiet when you started shining. That silence reveals everything. They say time reveals truth, but so does space. You don't need to shout your worth, your absence will say it all. And for the one who took you for granted, who ignored your value, your silence becomes their loudest wake-up call. It hits them in ways your words never could. Because when you were talking, they weren't listening. When you were giving, they were just receiving. But now that you're gone, really gone, they've got nothing but memories and missed opportunities. They start going over everything you said. Those little things they brushed off, now they realize those were warnings. Their silence, that was the final sentence in a conversation they didn't take seriously. And that distance, that's not a punishment. That's a boundary. That's your healing. That's your transformation in motion. Let me tell you something else. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves a second chance at your heart. Some folks need to feel the loss, sit with the consequences, and grow from the discomfort. And that's not cruelty, that's accountability. And if they truly care, they'll change. Not to get you back, but because they finally understand what they lost. And you keep walking. Don't look back, don't open that door just because they finally decided to knock. You left for a reason. Your silence has already spoken. Your growth is already happening. You don't owe anyone a replay of the pain you had to heal from. When you go quiet, when you go still, that's when you connect with your own spirit. That's when God starts whispering again. That's when your purpose becomes clearer. You realize you never needed validation. You never needed to keep proving yourself. You just needed to step back far enough to see your own value again. Growth doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like peace, like solitude, like you minding your business, building your life, leveling up in silence. And when they finally notice the difference, it's too late. You're no longer the same version of you they took for granted. So if you're in that season of silence, don't rush it. Don't doubt it. That's your season of becoming, of evolving, of rising. And trust me, your silence is teaching louder than your voice ever did. Let me tell you something about peace. Peace is the ultimate prize. It's the prize you get when you stop living for other people's approval, when you stop trying to control what you can't, and when you finally put yourself first. Peace ain't something you find in someone else's hands. Peace comes from inside you. It's a state of mind, a decision, a boundary you set for yourself. When you're stuck in chaos, arguing, explaining, defending your love, defending your worth, you lose sight of that peace. You lose sight of yourself. You're caught in a cycle that drains your energy, steals your joy, and clouds your vision. And that cycle is dangerous because it makes you think you're weak if you walk away. It makes you think you owe someone more than you owe yourself. But walking away is actually the bravest, strongest thing you can do for your peace. Because peace is not just the absence of noise or conflict. Peace is a full-on vibe. It's a calm soul. It's waking up and feeling okay with your life no matter what's going on around you. And sometimes to get there, you got to say no to chaos. You got to say no to toxic love. You got to say no to people who drain you instead of lift you. When you choose peace over chaos, you're choosing yourself. And that ain't selfish. That's self-love. That's self-respect. That's knowing you're worth more than being someone's backup plan or their option when things get rough. You deserve to be their priority, their joy, their reason to smile, not their afterthought. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing peace. Because peace isn't a punishment. It's a gift you give yourself. It's healing, it's growth, it's freedom from the chains of drama and disrespect. And once you taste that freedom, you'll never want to go back to living in turmoil. See, peace attracts better things. It attracts better people. When you're at peace, you start to see clearly who belongs in your life and who doesn't. You start to recognize that not every fight is worth your energy, and not every relationship deserves your tears. Peace gives you the strength to walk away from anything or anyone that disrupts your balance. And here's another truth. Sometimes the hardest part about walking away is facing the silence inside, facing your own thoughts. But that's where the real work happens. That's where you rebuild. That's where you get to know yourself again, who you are without the noise, without the drama, without the stress. And when you get to that place, you become unshakable because peace makes you strong. Peace makes you confident. Peace makes you unstoppable. And people notice that. People see that you're not someone to mess with anymore. You're someone who knows their worth and protects it fiercely. You're not just walking away from chaos, you're walking toward your purpose, toward a life that feels good, toward a future where you're in control of your happiness. That's power. That's freedom. And that's the lesson you learn when you finally put peace first. So if you ever find yourself caught in a situation that's tearing you down, remember this. No relationship, no job, no circumstance is worth sacrificing your peace. Your mental health, your happiness, your sense of self, these are priceless. You owe it to yourself to guard them fiercely. And when you do, the universe responds. Doors open, new opportunities come knocking, real love shows up. The kind that doesn't complicate your peace, but adds to it. Real success finds you because you're no longer distracted by unnecessary battles. Peace is your foundation. It's your superpower. It's the quiet confidence that tells the world you're done settling, done compromising your values, done giving your energy to things that don't uplift you. Walking away might be the hardest thing you do, but it's also the most loving thing you can do for yourself. Because when you walk away from chaos, you walk into peace. And once you get a taste of that peace, there's no turning back.